Hey everyone, welcome to the amazing team's TacoBytes episodes where Doug and I chat about all things gratitude, hate taco, and making work better. Today, we're going to talk about some cringe appreciation messages and discuss how to make them better. Doug, are you ready?
I'm ready.
These are very cringe. These are the messages you see printed on Hallmark cards that people commonly send in chats that commonly say out loud. And they're not very specific or unique for the person that delivered that. So we're going to have to do some work in making them better. Okay, the first one. Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, that's pretty cringe. For these messages, I think there's three kind of core things that really people should be thinking about. And I'll be honest up front, like I struggle at this. When I recognize somebody, I sometimes I'm at a loss of words, really how to articulate my feelings. And so these three things I think kind of help me when it comes to giving recognition. And that is being specific, highlighting the impact, and then being personal. And as a bonus, connecting it to core values. And so that particular message, I think we can, let's be specific and highlight the impact. So are we going to rewrite these messages?
Yes. Think of like your colleague, Bob, imaginary colleague, Bob.
Okay.
Who just helped launch a new product for XYZ company. How would you say this in a way that is a little bit more specific, impactful, and personal?
Well, I would probably start with detailing exactly what it is, just to show. Did you say Bob or Rob? Bob.
Bob.
Just to show Bob that, hey, I noticed what you did. So really kind of like articulating what it is. When you specify the thing, it tells Bob that you noticed that thing. And then highlighting the impact, like what did that do? What did it do for you? What did it do for the company? Because that helps them feel like their work has purpose when you highlight that impact. And then, if the third thing, being personal, when you add that element, kind of makes it a little bit more authentic rather than like a canned message like, hey, great job, which kind of is more of a canned approach.
For sure.
So how do we rewrite it?
I think for Bob, maybe I'm going to take a stab at it. It could be like, hey, Bob, you kept the project on track for launching this new product feature, which helped us launch it on time, right? Without you, we would have been days behind our deadline. And your energy that you brought to keeping us all on track was contagious.
I think that's perfect. You hit all three. You're very specific. You highlighted the impact, and it was pretty personal. So I would say that's 5 out of 5 tacos for your rewrite there.
Oh, amazing. Okay, I'm happy about that. Okay, the next one. This is also a common one.
Okay.
And we say it also just walking by people or very quickly. You're the best.
Yeah. Thank you. Right. It's going to leave me wondering, what you're talking about. So really not that impactful. You're the best. Maybe if you can kind of say a little bit more, best at what, and how does being the best affect whatever it is. So I think just for that one in particular, it's very short. And there's just a huge opportunity to be more specific and highlight more of an impact.
I feel like for this one, if people just added one short sentence afterwards, it would make or break this message. Like, hey, Doug, you're the best. I love how you help us not launch shitty designs on the website because of your design eye.
Yeah.
Right. It already tells you a little bit more about you're the best because your design eye is awesome and you have a high bar for things that look good versus look bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's good.
Okay. Another one. People say this all the time. They end their LinkedIn posts with this. We couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah. Done what?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
A great example of how, leaving out the, the what, right? What is it? Done what, right? I think it's important. You got to have that what, you got to have that why. And that one's definitely lacking both of those.
I don't know if you feel this way, but that message also makes me feel insincere because we are all replaceable. And to be honest, we can all do without each other. It might not be fun. It might suck more. It might not be the same. It definitely won't be the same. But truthfully, we could have done it without you. It just wouldn't have been maybe nearly as successful or fun or meaningful. So sometimes it almost feels like an exaggeration as well, versus saying, hey, without you, this project would have been so boring. It would have been so late, and it would have probably flopped because we wouldn't have our things together.
Yeah, I think that definitely hits all three. You were specific there, and you highlight impact, and you're a bit more personal. So I think that's a good rewrite on that one.
How about thanks for everything?
Thanks for everything. That sounds so encompassing, right? Like, wow. I mean, that makes me feel great. You're thanking me for everything. However, it's yeah. I think being a little bit more specific again could be more impactful. Um,
It's
you
like
know,
everything, even when I was late to the meeting last week and you had to
yeah.
wait for me. Because, like, let's be honest, not everyone's perfect all the time. So thanks for everything. Like, really, though? Do you really mean it? Or you're just
Mhm.
kind of getting the easy way out? Again, it feels like it's a commonly printed message inside a Hallmark thank you
Sure,
card.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's I think it's a popular one because it's an easy one, right? It could apply for so many people, so many situations. So that's why you see that in the Hallmark card, because it speaks to more people. Now, right, you add a little more to the message there, and you're a little bit more specific. It's going to just be much more impactful. Now, I mean, again, like, I struggle with this all the time.
We all do.
We all do. Like, it's just much easier to say thanks for everything you've done rather than really highlight and articulate, the things that have inspired you to even want to say thank you to somebody. And so, yeah.
I think there's another thing at play, which is we might not want to miss thanking a person for something. So we're trying to not be too nichey
Yep.
because we might feel that that will offend the other person or make them not feel valued because we're not thanking them for all the other 20 things they also did that were valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that niche is way better than the other end of the line that we default to, which is way too broad. Like, thanks for everything versus thanks for closing the door when you left the meeting room because, it makes it soundproof or whatever. It sounds so specific. So maybe people feel like, I don't want to be too specific. So the person feels like this is the only thing I value about them.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point.
Okay. Last but not least, thank you for your support.
I use that quite often, and in messages, right? Because I talk to customers, and I like to express my gratitude. And so I would love to know how I can improve that.
That's a great question. I think in your use case, and I've seen you write that, and I have taken it after you, so I write that as well. We definitely want to thank our customers. And maybe in this situation, it actually is specific because they are supporting us with their adoption of the tool and them paying their monthly bill on time, right? They're supporting our business. Sometimes I will say thank you for being part of Hey Taco, or thank you for being part of the taco economy. But those are also very, very broad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe something we can work on. It's like, how do we make it specific? But it's really hard sometimes because we don't always know everything about that customer that can make it a little bit more specific.
Yeah, that's a great point.
For now, better to thank than not to thank. Maybe that's the message. Even if you're going to use a cringe message, it's better than to not use anything. But don't overuse the cringe messages. Try to be a tad more specific, just like 1% more specific.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me think, like, there's an opportunity there as well to be specific. Thank you for your support over the past 9 years, right?
That's a good one.
Now it's like, now what you're doing is you're telling them that, oh, you noticed that not only am I a customer, but I've been a customer for 9 years. So it's an opportunity for me, for anyone to add a little bit more to it that kind of really shows that, like, yes, this is not just a canned message thanking you for your support, but it's a little bit more genuine. Like, I actually know how long you've been a customer for. So I think it's a little bit more impactful when you add that layer.
I love that. And I'm going to yes and that. I think there's a couple other things we can acknowledge about the customer, because we can see their usage data, right? So I remember sometimes looking at people's taco shop and saying, your rewards are amazing. I love the fun images. Those are super creative because you have a fun reward, such as pie the CEO, or for 15 tacos, you can get a colleague to call you in the morning and give you a pep talk before the start of your day. Those are really creative taco shop rewards. So I'll kind of give them a high five for that. Or I'll say your engagement is through the roof. People are writing awesome messages and they seem to be really grateful to each other. How fun. Like, what a great team you've built. So it could be, in the sense of, it's not thanking them, but it's noticing something I hope they're proud of, because it's very unique and creative. And they might take it for granted because no one's ever, like, they don't know how other people use a taco. So acknowledging something that they're doing amazing with their team could also help with that.
And that just speaks to how impactful it can be to say things like that, right? That show that you've looked, you've taken, you're noticing, you're discovering, and I think it's much more impactful when people know that that you've noticed these things.
I agree. Sounds like we have some new practices to adopt when we're thanking our customers.
Absolutely.
All right, Doug. Thank you for rewriting those messages with me. I hope they're helpful to people listening and inspire us all to just be a little bit more specific when we give tacos to other people.
Love it.
See you later, Doug.
Later.